I've already forgotten some of it, but I want to say one thing really quickly. You said something about why did we make this club for you. One thing that I've said to quite a few people in this school is I say, breaking news, I was 13 once. And I remember sitting back and seeing the basketball stars getting trophies and watching people playing piano and singing songs, and I never got an award or a trophy at all. Okay, so we're making this for you to get you some awards and trophies. How cool is that? I would have killed to have this type of club when I was 13. Here's a whole bunch of quotes from a whole bunch of dead people about how reading opens up doors and takes you to new worlds. Breaking news. I read, not gonna work, because I don't like talking to people, okay? I sat alone in the lunchroom. I had a few friends, for sure. But generally speaking, I loved reading growing up. And even now, I'm not really good at talking to people. I don't really watch the same movies that most people watch, so it's just not my best skill ever. But I love reading, okay? Maybe that speaks to somebody here. Does this not work anymore? I'll try it again in a second. When I was really young, probably 9, 10, 11, something like that, I got started, like, the first books that I owned, that I went out and I bought, that I owned, I was really into certain shows, Star Trek, X-Files, and then I'm in the library at my school and I saw, whoa, there are books about my favorite shows. So I started gobbling those down, thank you. So every week I would get these, and we used to be able to buy these at the store for very, very cheap, and I would be so excited to run out and get the new books based on shows that I really liked, right? Then I got into comic books, right? Anime. Who doesn't like this stuff, right?
Me.
This right here, this was a romance comedy manga, and guess what? I was 12 and 13 getting into girls, and this really helped me live through that. Somebody here said that they like to read like mystery or something, right? We read to enact something else. We put on someone else's shoes, and it's a way to learn how we're growing up, right? Or maybe it's about being a boy in a robot who hates his dad and now he's got to save the world, but he doesn't know how. We all know how that is, right? Then I got into Batman, and Batman's cool, and he's big, and he's strong, but if you go in deeper, it's about politics, it's about justice, it's about vengeance. There's so many deep parts to those stories, okay? You can get into stuff that is very dark, that is twisted with, like, fantasy. You can get into things that really challenge you and make you go out. Then, when I was about 13 or 14, my aunt started showing me the grown-up books. The books that are a little harder. The books that are horror and stuff, right? And I had an aunt, and I remember she had a book called The Stand, and it was 1,200 pages. And I said, how do you read that? She said, one page at a time. How do you eat a hippo? One bite at a time. You can read a big book if you really want to, but these are just normal books, right? So after that, in school, when I hit 14, 15, we started reading more books about what it's like to be a teenager. How hard it is. Every day the world changes. And this is a fantastic book about a young man who's learning that the world is not always so pretty. And I can reread this book every about 5 to 10 years, and it means something completely different. Because now I'm 40, and I'm teaching you guys. And now, when I first read this at 14, I thought, that's me. And now I can say, that's my students, right? So what book should you read? We already kind of said it. The book you will read. I have Moby Dick on my shelf. It was written in 1872. It's about that thick. I haven't read it. I'm going to be real. I haven't read it. I want to, maybe one day, but I haven't read it. But I do read this guy's books. He's pretty cool, right? He writes crime books about the 1950s, 1960s. I gobble these down. Last year, I read 5 books by him, and they were awesome. This year, I've already read one of my favorites, right? I really liked Doom as a kid. I thought Doom was the coolest video game ever. Then I found out there's a book about the making of Doom. I read this. It was awesome. There's always a book for something you're into. Always. Okay? I always go out to read books about what's going on now. Every year I try to read 3 or 4 nonfiction books about what's going on now. And this book was so important. This is an entire book written, I believe in 2023, 2024, about the life of cell phones. What is it doing to our brains? What is it doing going forward? And that's to do with you guys, my students. I always tell people, when you pick up a book and you open it, you're making a choice. I can watch a movie and play on my phone. I can talk to a friend and do this. You can't open a book and do this. You are making the choice to focus your mind. You are building calluses. Your brain is a muscle. You are flexing that muscle at all times. Okay? So, one thing that drives me mad is that there's a false narrative that there's no new books. Every year there are thousands of books put out. We do not need to be reading Shakespeare in 2026, okay? There are brand new books that come out, and I guarantee you one of them is going to reach you and touch you and be really darn good. There's even young adult books. Do you know how cool that is? That you have an entire genre that's written at your level of reading. You have entire genres about vampires and monsters and robots and mystery and horror that's made for you. I didn't have that. I had to read my aunt's books. How cool is that? If you can't find a book, you didn't try. Okay? I want to finish on this. This is R.F. Kuang. She wrote Babel right there, which was a fantastic book, and I want to read her other books. But anyway, a couple things about her. I hate this woman because I want to be her so bad, okay? She is from China. She moved to Texas at the age of 4, maybe something like you guys. Now she's currently in Oxford getting her PhD. At 19, I'm 39, I'm a bum. At 19, during her gap year in China, she wrote The Poppy War. And it went on to sell 1 million copies, and she's rich, and she never has to work again, but yet she still writes. She just put out this book, and no one knows how to say it, this year. But look, 2019, 2020, 2018, 2022, she's busy, and she's doing her PhD, and she runs marathons. I hate this woman. I struggle just to eat salads each night, okay? I want to finish up on 2 quotes, the only quotes I'm going to give you. Reading lets us live someone else's shoes, builds bridges, it makes our world larger, not smaller. I showed this to a friend of mine, and he said, I talk to people because I'm too unfocused to read. That's a literal quote from somebody I know. Which do you want to be, this guy or this person? You have amazing resources in this club, and I am jealous of you guys for having it.